Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises and honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, man. That's all reverence, man, to the Most High God through the name of His Son, who the world so ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Just want to say shalom to all the Akim out there, man. Everybody that's grinding, you know what I'm saying, that's making their body a living sacrifice, that's doing their due diligence to preach the word to the people, to uphold they self accountable, to examine they self on a daily basis, to make sure that you walking in the spirit at all times, staying on fire for the Most High God, man. And shalom to all the sisters who holding down the household, who raising the kids up in the way they should go, who taking care of the house, you know what I'm saying, the ones that are doing everything they can to make they calling the election sure, being as close to a Proverbs 31 woman as can be, man. Well, just want to do a short message today, just talk about everybody got kind of like different lots, different talents in this thing. We all part of one body that does, working for salvation, that's working toward getting closer to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's getting closer to that kingdom, because we all got different things that we got to do. We all got different roles. We all got different attributes, different things that we can contribute to this walk on a daily basis. So, it's just nice to actually dwell on those things, man. People get down on a daily basis and be like, oh, well, I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I wish I had this talent, I wish I had that talent, you know what I'm saying? But not everything is for you to do. Most High gave, different skills and gifts to each individual the way that he saw fit, man. Because this is all the Most High's movie, man. This is all his story. We all just actors in this thing, man. So whether you the star or whether you just somebody that's in the background, man, we all putting in work. So I want to kick it off with Ecclesiastes, man. I love them wisdom books. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, and we're going to start at 9. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of thy vanity. So everything in this life is vanity. All the works that we do, as far as just the daily basis, man, it's all vanity. It's all vanity and just vexation and just madness. If you read the book of Ecclesiastes, it breaks that down a lot. So we gotta live joyfully with that wife, man. That wife would be wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Because we are actually husbandry, to the Most High. He look at us as his wife, what I'm saying? That's why we got to rely on the bosom of the Most High, man. That's where we get our comfort. That's where we get our joy. That's where we get our hope and our salvation, man. Live joyfully with the wife of whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity. For that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So no matter what you do, what I'm saying, you got to make sure you giving that thing your all, no matter what it is. If you somebody, when you go to camp, you somebody that's just out there holding posts, hold that post mighty, man. Make sure there ain't no folly going on. If you somebody who doing reading, man, give it your all, man. You got to think of precepts for the brothers. You got to actually, bring it out mighty. Make sure the people understand what you're saying. Make sure you don't have to repeat yourself. Try your best not to stumble over your words. You know what I'm saying? You got to be there. You the backbone of the one that's actually doing the teaching. If you the brother that's doing the teaching, you got to make sure that you staying on point with it. I said, we can use so many of our words that we can tend to go off, you know what I'm saying, and not even say the things that we normally, the things that we supposed to be saying. That we may interpret something wrong, and if you spread that message on to somebody else, then that blood is on your hands. So you got to do that thing with all your might. You got to give it your all. You got to do your best. You got to strive to be perfect at all times, man. And if you somebody that's out there just passing out flyers, do that thing with all your might. Make sure you try to stop every so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, and woman and child, and try to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. Even just when you out and you walk on a daily basis, just make sure you be in the light at all times. No matter what you're doing, give it your all. I say if you making music, making that righteous music for people to vibe to, you got to make sure that thing is hidden, man. You can't come in there, half-ass with it. and just throwing something out there. The Most High, He know what you're doing. He see everything that's going on, and you got to make sure you're doing it for Him. Make sure it's pleasing for the Most High. It ain't even about the glory that you getting out of man, because all this flesh means nothing. We all our bodies are gonna go back to the dirt, and our spirit is gonna go back to the Most High. Reading on. I'm gonna actually read that one again, verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So when you actually pass on, man, it's nothing. This life is gonna wither away. You're just gonna be but a memory. Like people may mourn for you for a little bit, but life is gonna go on, man. Like nobody is still sitting there crying about, they forefathers. They don't know them people. They just know that, we had people that did certain things for us, things that people did actually got us to where we at, in this day and age. But it's like, you don't know them people. You don't know what they did. You don't know what their favorite color was, their favorite food. You don't know, how they got around, what they did for a living. You don't know any of those things. So there is no knowledge or wisdom in the grave. Verse 11, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches of men, riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. But time and chance happeneth to them all. I said, so this battle and this race, that we live in, is not even a race. It's a marathon. We taking it one step at a time. We taking one day at a time, one precept at a time, one chapter at a time, one book at a time. Everything that we doing is for a time. That's another thing that the book of Ecclesiastes talk about in the earlier chapters back in Ecclesiastes 3. It talk about how there's a time for everything. I said, so this is a battle that we have to endure on a daily basis. We all got different tribulations. We all got things that we striving to work on. You may wake up on a daily basis and be like, oh, I want to get better at this. I need to do better at this. Well, it's like that Everest College commercial. Well, like it's time to get up and do that thing, man. You can't just sit there and continue to sit on your couch, just being like, man, one day, man. Then one day is gonna add up, man, and then it's gonna be that last day, and you're gonna be taken out there. And when you get on that judgment day, when you get to talk to the Most High, you ain't gonna be able to just sit there and be like, I wanted to. And he'll be like, come on. I seen what you was doing. I know your thoughts. I made you. Verse 12, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in the evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in the evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. I said, so you don't want to be caught up in that thing, like out of nowhere. You ever went fishing, and you actually like realize what's going on? When you actually throwing that reel out there, they just see food coming, and fish be like, oh man, I'm about to grab that. And then once they get caught on that hook, it's like that. They be like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. I wasn't expecting that. This ain't what I was looking forward to. That wouldn't have that fish, had his day planned out. That same thing is with us, man. You don't want to get caught up in that net. Book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. So that's why we have to examine ourselves on a daily basis, because we never know when that end's going to be. We don't know exactly how much time we have left. We never do. That's why you got to make every day the best that you can, man. 2 Peter 3 and 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are in shall be burnt up. So everything that's here, it's going to get destroyed. Nothing you see is actually profitable. Like that's why I was saying that the works that you have, all of it is vanity. It doesn't actually mean anything because it's not permanent. We can't take any of this physical stuff, to the kingdom with us. You ain't gonna be grabbing, your favorite outfit, your favorite shoes, hopping in your favorite car, taking your favorite dish, taking it in that nasty container that you don't never wash. That spaghetti bowl that's been stained red when it was clear when you first bought it. None of that's gonna matter. You can't take that stuff with you. So we got to strive for the excellence so we can return back to the Lord and actually receive salvation from our enemies, man. Get up out of this wicked captivity where everything is just damn dirty and defiled and broken. Book of John, chapter 4, and verse 34. And Yahushua said unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. So Christ's job here, man, it wasn't to do anything for self-glory, for vainglory, man. His will was to do the work of his Father. That's why when his parents was looking for him, he was out there teaching, man. He's 12 years old, and they're like, hey, man, where's my son? And he's like, hey, you ain't my dad, man. I'm doing my Father's work, man. I'm doing what the Most High Yahweh wants me to do, man. I'm not out here doing, what y'all want me to do. I'm doing what we need to do, man. And what we need to do is to preach this word. What we need to do is to keep these commandments, these laws, man. Verse 35. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. So when you in the wintertime and you looking and be like, oh man, spring is around the corner, that's gonna be harvest season. That's when we do our feast of first fruits. When it's like, no man, the harvest is now. You looking at the physical of you waiting on your fruits and your vegetables to grow. But it's like, man, our seeds are being planted all the time. You just saying something to somebody about who they are. You planting a seed. You giving a flyer. You saying your Hebrew name out in public. People see that. The other day I was in the grocery store, man. I had 2 people walk up and ask me about fringes. Like one sister, she didn't even know that women wore fringes, man. So her just seeing my rib, out there was something that just, you could see it in her face. So she like, oh man, that's something I ain't seen before. Her brother was like, oh, he having trouble finding fringes. He new to the walk. So you got to show him where to get them, man. You got to be that light. I said that harvest is something that we doing on a daily basis, man. We reaping the benefits. It's like you ask for laborers, man, and the Most High going to give them to you. But how you going to find laborers if you're not out there putting in the work yourself? You're not going to find nobody to help you out. Like say you own a business, you ain't going to find an employee just by sitting there and being like, man, I could use some help around here. You're going to go on Indeed. You're going to, put a job offer out there. You're going to start looking for people to recruit. That's the same thing that the Most High is doing, man. He finding people everywhere throughout the whole 4 corners, man, to all put in work so his will can be done and we can get salvation and get up out of here. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 36, he that reapeth receiveth wages and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. I said, so when 2 come together, miracles happen, man. When 2 come together, the Most High is right there in the midst. He's the one that's making everything happen. And when you actually together, you uplift each other, and that's you sowing and reaping at the same time. Both people are putting in that work so they harvest can grow. Verse 37, and herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth. I sent you to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors. I said, so somebody else putting in work is where it got you where you at. You wouldn't know who you are if it wasn't for somebody else out there actually putting in the work, whether you heard it through a celebrity, whether you saw somebody on the corner, whether you heard it in the music. You might have just been scrolling TikTok. You got DC Young Fly talking about Hebrews, and now you like, man, hey, what's that going on? The brother putting in work. He may not be all the way into this thing, out there in fringes, shaking a hand, telling everybody to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, but he's still doing what the Most High put him here to do, and that's to wake up the masses, man. That's what we need to be doing on a daily basis, is to what they call it in the school system, the reach one, teach one, man. It's like the more you talk about it, the more the word gonna get out, and guess what? We prospering as a people, man. First Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. I said, so we all are under Yahweh, and then his head being the Most High God, Yahweh. I said, so we all got different gifts, but we all moving in the same spirit. We all trying to get closer to one another. We all preaching the same thing, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, whether it's, when it comes to Sabbath, whether you keep the Friday or Saturday, whether you do the lunar, you still telling people, hey, you got to keep the Sabbath. We telling people, hey, you got to wear fringes, no matter if you wear the 2-inch bouillon or whether you wear the curtain style like people wear on their garments. You still telling people to keep the commandments. It doesn't matter if you got it on your skirt, your dress, your shirt, your jacket. You still promoting to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So we all being like-minded on one accord with the same mission in mind. Verse 6, and there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God, which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. I said, so no matter what, what actions you actually putting into it, you still actually, making your spiritual deposits. It's like when you go in the bank, man, no matter if you just putting in $5 or whether you putting in 20, you still making a deposit. And that's what we doing, is putting that in our spiritual bank, man. Verse 8, for to one is given by the Spirit of the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit. So the words that you say can just be healing to somebody. Giving somebody the right verse at the right time can uplift them, man. We get down on a daily basis in these walks, man. Just man go fall 7 times. You got to get built up. And by you getting built up, you can help build somebody else up, because when you give them your testimony, they can actually use that and be like, dang, I never looked at it that way. And there you go. Verse 9, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. I said, so some people actually have like visions, you know what I'm saying? They see a lot of things that are coming. A lot of people actually got the gift of just reading the word, studying on a daily basis, so they can explain the prophecies that was foretold to our forefathers who actually wrote all this stuff, left a trail for us. Other people may have diverse tongues. They're able to speak Spanish. They speak English. They speak Hebrew. They may speak Russian, may speak French. So when people actually walking up and down the street, they can reach anybody. Because, you may not want to listen to somebody just because they got an accent, or they may not say words the same way as you. But then when you got a brother or sister there that can actually break it down for them, they can get in this thing without even having to deal with you. That's multiple body parts being a part of the same body that's actually following in the Most High's ways, man. That's following in the Spirit. Verse 11, but all these work at that one of the self-same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. For as the body is one, and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Hamashiach. I said, so man, we all, like, when you look at a body, the hand is nothing without the fingers, without a wrist, without an arm, without a shoulder, without the back, without abs. Like, it don't mean nothing. Like, one body part means nothing if it doesn't have the rest. I'm like, you ever tried walking with a broken toe? You think that little baby toe means nothing, but then you try to stand up for too long without that thing, man. It's gonna make it real difficult. And that's how this walk is. We all need one another, no matter how much we want to admit it, man. People want to strive, and want to bicker about, differences in doctrine and, different names, different feast days, and none of it matters. We all still part of the same body with the same goal in mind, man. And that is reaching the kingdom. I got one more precept, man. I'm going to wrap this up. Book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I said, so we actually, full of different sorrows and, dealing with different spirits, dealing with all kinds of madness and folly on a daily basis. But that's why we got to keep our faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because as long as we keeping our faith and doing our due diligence, we know that we going to get up out of this thing through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But I hope that this message was edifying, and, hope that you can apply these precepts to your daily basis, man. To walk in the spirit at all times. To realize that no matter what you are good at, no matter what you have, no matter what you don't have, whether it's things in the physical or whether it's things spiritual, we all still putting in work. Just because you may have the most expensive staff, out of the collection, don't mean nothing. Just because you may have the mightiest garments on, don't mean nothing. Just because you may have the nicest house, nicest car, any of that, it doesn't matter. So we all got different gifts, and we need to be there for each other, and to just focus on keeping the spirit and staying on fire in these last days, man. Because sifting season is on the way. So you got damn famine, you got wars, everything else coming on. It's hell breaking loose on a daily basis, man. So we got to keep that faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But with that, we go. All praises and glory and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom.